I am in pain. It hurts so much.
The cage in Lekki. They said Lagos would open doors for her, but the first door Adaora entered locked from the inside. 6 months later, she would run barefoot into the morning streets with nothing but burns on her skin, fear in her chest, and the terrible question she could not answer: was she escaping, or just learning a new way to survive? Before this story begins, please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn on the notification box to get notified when new stories are out. Adaora arrived at Lagos with 62 naira left after the night bus from Oka dropped her at Yonaipaja. 19, barefoot in worn bathroom slippers, she carried only a black nylon bag containing 2 wrappers, the Bible with missing pages, and a small bottle of palm oil her mother had pressed into her hand at the village gate. "God will open door," her mother had said, voice cracking. The door Lagos opened was Madam Ngozi's. The house sat behind green high walls in Phase 1, Lekki, white paint so bright it hurt the eyes, black Range Rover and Mercedes jelly packed like sleeping beasts. Chief Emeka was almost never there, oil contracts kept him between Abuja and Houston. That left Madam Ngozi, 51, perfectly manicured, to run the house like a small prison she enjoyed governing. Adaora started at 35,000 naira a month, food and room included. The room was a converted store behind the kitchen, damp concrete, single foam mattress, 1 naked bulb. She rose at 4:30 a.m. every day, even Sundays. By 6 a.m. the family expected hot water for bathing, tea brewed exactly 90 seconds, clothes already pressed. Mistakes were not forgiven, they were punished. Madam Ngozi's cruelty had rhythm. A fingerprint on the stainless steel fridge earned Adaora 10 strokes of a thin electrical cable across the curves. When she oversalted the white soup one evening, Madam Ngozi poured the entire pot over Adaora's head while it was still steaming, then made her mop the kitchen floor on hands and knees with her own wrapper while the burns blistered. "Next time I use hot oil," she promised calmly. Ifeoma, the first daughter, treated Adaora like interactive entertainment. She would call Adaora into her bedroom, order her to kneel, then use her phone torch to shine directly into the maid's eyes until tears streamed. "Cry properly, village girl, I want good video." When Adaora accidentally knocked over Ifeoma's new iPhone 16 Pro while dusting, Ifeoma waited until 1 a.m., dragged her to the laundry room, locked the doors, and used a metal hanger to whip the soles of Adaora's feet until they swelled purple-black. Walking became torture for 2 weeks. Ifeoma laughed every time Adaora limped past. Chidi was different. He did not need noise to hurt. He preferred silence. The first time happened on a Thursday night in late February. The rest of the house was at a wedding in Banana Island. Power was out, only the inverter fan spun lazily above Adaora's mattress. Chidi entered without knocking, locked the door, pressed his full weight on her chest until she could barely breathe. He tore the wrapper, forced her legs apart, covered her mouth so hard her front teeth cut her own lip. When he finished, he wiped himself on her bedsheet, dropped 2,000 naira on the floor like trash money, and left. It became routine, twice, sometimes 3 times a week. Each time he whispered the same thing: "Tell anybody and I'll make sure they find your body in the canal behind Chevron. They'll say you ran away with a boyfriend." Only Nkechi was different. The youngest, studying nursing at Lagos State University, moved through the house like a ghost who hated being seen. She never raised her voice, never gave orders. Instead, she did small, dangerous kindnesses. After Madam Ngozi's cable left fresh welts, Nkechi would slip antibiotic ointment and paracetamol under Adaora's pillow. When Chidi's violence left blood on the sheets, Nkechi quietly collected them before the laundry woman arrived and washed them herself. Late at night she sometimes sat on the edge of the foam mattress and let Adaora talk about the village, about the stream where girls used to plait hair, about her little brother who wanted to be a pilot. Once Nkechi held Adaora while she cried soundlessly after one of Chidi's visits. "I'm saving," Nkechi whispered. "When I finish NYSC next year I'll rent a room somewhere. You can come." Then there was stunned Chidi's friend from university days, a tall, quiet, civil engineer working on the third mainland bridge expansion project, started appearing more frequently after March. He came with excuses, dropping off a charger, collecting a textbook, just passing. But his eyes always found Adaora. Not the way Chidi's eyes found her, like meat. Tan's gaze was careful, almost frightened, as though he understood that looking too long could break something. One Saturday afternoon in April, while Chidi was at a football viewing center, Tan found Adaora alone in the small backyard washing Madame Ngozi's bedsheets in a basin. A fresh bruise bloomed under her left eye. He crouched a respectful distance away. "Does it hurt?" he asked. She shook her head, eyes on the soapy water. "I brought something." He placed a small black polythene bag beside the basin, paracetamol, a new pair of rubber slippers, 1,500 naira folded neatly. "For when you need to buy airtime. Or food. Whatever." She stared at the bag like it might bite. "I'm not like him," Tan said quietly. "I swear." Weeks passed. Tan came more often when Chidi was out. He never touched her. He asked questions instead. What village? What did her mother plant? Did she like music? Slowly, dangerously, Adaora began answering. One evening in May he sat on the back steps with her while the generator coughed in the distance. "I keep thinking about you," he said. "All the time." Not like that. "I just want you safe. I have a one-bedroom flat in Surolia. Small, but clean. If you ever want to leave." Adaora felt something crack inside her chest, something that had been clenched so long she forgot it could move. But the house smelled the change. Madame Ngozi noticed Adaora's occasional half-smile, the way she sometimes walked lighter. She searched the girl's few possessions, found the new slippers, found 3,000 naira hidden inside a Bible page. She called Adaora to the living room at midnight. Ifeoma and Chidi watched from the staircase. "Thief," Madame Ngozi said, almost gently. She slapped Adaora so hard the girl's ear rang. Then she made her strip to her underwear and kneel in the center of the marble floor while Madame Ngozi poured a full bottle of jik bleach over her head. The liquid ran into her eyes, burned her scalp, soaked her chest. Adaora screamed until her voice broke. Ifeoma filmed the whole thing. Chidi took his turn later that night. He was angrier than usual. "You think Tand will marry you? You think you're special?" He raped her on the cold kitchen tiles, one hand around her throat, the other pinning her wrist until the bone creaked. When he finished he spat on her face. Nkechi found her at 3 a.m., curled beside the dustbin, bleach buns still weeping. Nkechi cleaned her as best she could, crying the whole time. "Tand called me," Nkechi whispered. "He's coming tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when Mommy goes to the salon and Chidi is still sleeping. He has a bike waiting outside the gate. Pack nothing. Just run." Adaora looked at Nkechi with empty eyes. "They'll find me," she said. "They won't," Nkechi answered. "I'll tell them you stole money and ran in the night. I'll cry. They'll believe me." At 6:55 a.m. the next morning Adaora slipped through the kitchen door. Her scalp still burned, her thighs ached, but she moved. Tand waited 2 streets away on a quiet Okada, helmet already on her seat. He didn't speak. He only handed her the helmet, started the engine, and drove. Behind them the White House with black gates stood silent in the morning light. No one chased. Not yet. Adaora rested her cheek against Tan's back as they disappeared into the waking streets of Lekki. She did not know if this was salvation or simply a longer, slower fall. But for the first time in 6 months she breathed air that did not taste of bleach and fear. Somewhere in the distance, Lagos kept shouting. It always does. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel.